Hey guys, Account Second here, and this is the info video for Season 24 of the Pokemon NASCAR series. Now we're going to do the info video a bit different than how we normally do the info videos for these seasons. And we usually list the we usually just show you the cars by number, who's driving what, and the schedule after that. But I thought I'd give it some more polish and show you the teams that are going to compete in the series, and what cars and drivers the teams will have this season, so that it could be more cleaner and that it would be a little bit more better. It would be more better ordered, more organized, and just easier to find the names for this season, to see where you land, where if you have a ride this season, and all that other stuff. So anyway, before I begin, I just want to get this out of the way first. There will be a zero-tolerance spoiler policy for the series starting this season. Once you spoil, you will lose your ride. Just one spoiler will cost you your ride. We've had troubles with spoilers in the past couple seasons, and, well, it's just been annoying for the fans and myself too. So once you spoil a race, you will lose your ride. There will be a zero-tolerance spoiler policy beginning this season. That way I can get more drivers in the series to replace the other drivers. We don't have to worry about spoilers being really annoying anymore. If the spoilers do happen, they will not be able to sign up anymore in the series, and they will be banned, and they will have their rides removed. And I have other drivers that didn't make the sign-ups, but did put their names down in the sign-ups video. I have them, and they'll be having part-time rides in certain races. They could be called up to become a full-time driver should one of the drivers lose their ride due to the spoiler rules. So there will be no spoilers as always, and if there is a spoiler, that driver will be banned from the series permanently, and that driver will lose his or her ride, and another driver will take his or her place in the series full-time. But anyway, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's show you the drivers for Season 24. They'll be set up by teams, and they're in no particular order in how the teams will be set, but I have all 40 cars that are full-time. There are 2 cars that are part-time, and it'll list every single driver that'll be competing in the season, and the schedule as well at the end. We'll have the schedule at the very end for you. So here are the drivers that will be competing here in Season 24 of the Pokemon NASCAR series. Sorry if you hear a little static in the background. I'm using a headset and I have my air conditioning on, but anyway, summer's begun, obviously, so bear with me. Anyway, starting off with Chip Ganassi Racing, we have the number 1 and number 42. The 1 will be driven by Rocco Twyman, and the number 42 will be driven by Tony Green. He had the 42 in the past couple seasons, and now he's back in his same ride. He now has a new teammate, though, this season, Rocco Twyman. Next up, we have Germain Racing. I apologize if some of the logos are pretty bad, but I try the best I can. Anyway, it's a one-car team. They'll be the 13 Geico machine will be driven by Chris Dodd. Dodd was a rookie last season. He now moves to a new ride to a one-car team for Germain Racing, and he's now going to ride the number 13. I think Acevedo Jr. rode the 13 last season, and now Chris Dodd is going to drive the 13 this season for Germain Racing. Next up, we have Hedrick Motorsports. They have 4 cars this season. We have O'Neal Balvin driving the number 5. John Arndt, 2-time champion, makes his return to the series in the 24. Then the 88, we have new driver Amar'e Stoudimere Jr. I mentioned he was in the 13 last season. He's now moved up to Hedrick in the 88. And finally, we have defending series champion Benjamin Miles returning in the number 48. Sure, it will be an exciting season for the team. Next up, we have H Scout Motorsports, one of only 2 teams that have a full-time ride and a part-time ride. Their full-time ride will be the 15 Aaron's Machine. It will be driven by rookie Josh Crash. And the part-time car is the 46. It will run in 5 races with 5 drivers. Ryan Acosta will run Daytona, Landon McCray Eldora, Payne Beasley Calder Park, Ian Siegel Super Snack 500, and Daniel Beauchard will run at Zen Joltis in the season finale. Next up, it's Circle Sport Levine Family Racing. The other team with one full-time and one part-time. The full-time car is the 95. It'll be driven by Daniel Voyles. And the part-time car is the 59. It'll be driven by John Andrews in Daytona, Aiden Milliken in Eldora, Jonathan Fitzwater in Calder Park, Ben Braley in the Super Snack 500, and Gabriel Wanderley will run it in the season finale at Zen Joltis. That's it for the part-time and full-time cars. Next up, it is JTG Daughtry Racing, another one-car team. And the 47 will have Smith's Kingsfield on their car this season. They'll have a new driver. It'll be William Brock taking the wheel of the number 47 for the team. A lot of drivers have driven the 47. I think Jonny Gardner drove this car last season. But William Brock, it'll be his turn to run for JTG in the number 47 machine. Next, it's Richard Childress Racing. RCR has 3 cars. The number 3 of Max Skinner, returning in his old number last season. The 27 of Jacob Lawlor. Lawlor is back after running part-time last season. He's now full-time again in the 27 Duracell machine. And Sam Rogers in the 31. He also keeps his ride from last season. And he returns to Caterpillar. Skinner will run, by the way, Doe Sand and Water machine for the number 3. Stuart Haas Racing's up next. 4 cars for the team. The 4 will be driven by Billy Bishop, and the number 10 will be driven by Elijah Gordon, and the 14 will be driven by Mason Powers, and the 41 will be driven by Ryan Kasey. This team was entirely unchanged from last season. I think all 4 drivers kept their rides from last season, so it's nice to see these 4 return for the same team for Stuart Haas last season. They had a pretty good run. Now they're hoping for another good run this season. Next up, we have Tommy Baldwin Racing. Only 1 car for them this season, and that is the number 7, and that'll be driven by Avi Saks. Saks and Lawlor were both part-time cars last season, but this season they both have been brought back for a full-time ride. So we're glad to see both 2 of the winningest drivers in series history back in the series in different teams. And Saks will return in a full-time ride in the number 7 machine for Tommy Baldwin. Front Row Motorsports will be back to a 3-car team this season, and 2 of the 3 names are new. Number 34 will be driven by Morgan McPherson, and the number 35 driven by Cody Smart. The 38, though, coming out of retirement, racing for the Front Row, is Angel Navarro. He's back out of retirement, and he hopes to be a mentor to 2 rookies, Morgan and Cody, and for the entire Front Row Motorsports team. Next up, it's Richard Petty Motorsports. They have 2 cars this season. The 43 will be driven by Paul Barbour, and the 44 will be driven by Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater had not competed last season. Jonathan Fitzwater competed last season. Zachary didn't, and I'm not sure if they're related or not, but Zachary Fitzwater is back in the series. Jonathan is out, and he will be in a part-time ride. Paul Barbour is also back in the series in his number 43 machine. Next up, it's Roush Fenway Racing with the number 6, DJ Kirker, a rookie this season. Another rookie will drive the 16. That is Nikki Maxwell, will run KFC Nashville Hot Chicken for the number 16. And the number 17 is James Richardson. He was in the number 11 for Joe Gibbs and now moves to Roush Fenway for Fifth Third Bank number 17. James Richardson in Fenway along with Kirker and Maxwell. Next up, it is Team Penske with their 2-car team. First up, it's the number 2 Miller Lite machine, run by rookie Matthew Mdev. And the number 22, returning from his same ride last season in the same team, 22 Pennzoil Shell machine, Jarrod Lewis. It'll be very interesting to see these two battle it out and working together here for Team Penske. Mdev or Mdev, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I'll do the best. Next up, we have BK Racing, and they're down to just a 2-car team this season, but still, they were pretty good last season, so they're hoping to come back with a similar result. Anyway, the 23 will be driven by Kev Shearer. Shearer was in Front Row, now moves to BK, and the 83 will be driven by Jonny Gardner, who I think is a former Pole NASCAR champion. So these 2 drivers will work together for the small team BK Racing. Next up, it's another one-car team. It is Furniture Row Racing. In the 78 Furniture Row machine, it is Anthony Lopez. They've been talking about extending to a second car for Furniture Row, but for now, they're sticking with one car this season, the 78. That'll be driven by Anthony Lopez. He's been in and out of the series, and now he's hoping that he stays for the rest of the season in the number 78 Furniture Row machine for the team. Good luck. Next up, we have Joe Gibbs Racing. They have 4 cars, but we're showing 3 because one of the cars is run by TA2 Racing. The number 11 will be driven by Grayson Acevedo. The number 18 will be driven by Kermicah Jazzin. And the number 20 will be driven by Kyle Collins. Their other car, the 19, we will get to because TA2 Racing runs under the power of Joe Gibbs. But these are the 3 that will run under regular Joe Gibbs Racing. Only one car for the number 30 machine coming out of the Motorsports group, and that'll be run by rookie Jake Ferguson. I wonder if he's related to former driver Scott Ferguson. But anyway, Jake Ferguson will run the 30 machine. I couldn't find the Hill Plumbing paint scheme for this picture, so I'm using the unsponsored one, but he'll run with a sponsor for the 30 in the series this season. Next up, we have the Wood Brothers machine, and they're also a one-car team. Wood Brothers running their old 21 Motorcraft machine, and that'll be driven by Nathan Hudson. The British driver is now in a new team this season. He'll be running the 21 legendary Wood Brothers Ford, and let's hope the Wood Brothers can do very well. They really didn't do too much last season, and they're hoping Nathan Hudson can lead them to victory again this season. Next up, we have Premium Motorsports. They actually have 2 cars, but one of their cars runs under TA2 Racing, and that'll be the next team that'll come up after this. But Premium Motorsports, their one car competing is the 98 of Alex Hawkins. They'll be running Renani colors for this season, and we're going to get to the final team, and that'll be TA2 Racing. They'll have power from 3 different teams. And now here's our last team for Season 24, TA2 Racing. From Premium Motorsports, 55 will be driven by Pichu. From Go Fast Racing, the 32 will be driven by Luke Walker. And from Joe Gibbs Racing, the 19 will be driven by Leia Walker. Those are my 3 own drivers. They're the ones that aren't eligible for the chase, or what they can still collect wins for the series anyway. That's it for all the drivers. Now let's show you the rest of the schedule. Alright, here is the schedule for Season 24. It goes from left to right. And if you think this is a great thing, if you guys think this new format, info video format, is awesome, let me know in the comments below. I love this new format because it's more organized and it's much cleaner. So, anyway, we start off as always in Daytona. Then we go to Homestead, Miami, and Orlando, the other 2 races in Florida. And then we start the East Coast swing with Richmond and Martinsville, 2 short tracks. And then we go to Rockingham in North Carolina, the return of North Carolina Speedway. As you know, Action Pack Tracks just released a new version. I want to try it out. And so Rockingham, USA is back. Then we go to Blue Ridge Speedway in Pennsylvania. Then it's followed by Coca-Cola Super Speedway. And then New Hampshire Motor Speedway. New Hampshire is coming back this season. And then we go into the Midwest, into Chicagoland, Gateway, Kansas, Darlington. And then we go to the South and the West. We go to Atlanta next, and then to Texas, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Ontario, Auto Club, and Eldora. We end up the last race before the World Tour is going to be Eldora, and that'll be a dual race, and we'll tell you more about it when we get there. After Eldora, we'll have the All-Star race. This season will be in Kansas Speedway. And after Kansas's All-Star race, we will have the World Tour. World Tour 24 will go to Australia, Calder Park, Brno in Czech Republic, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, Veltins Arena in Germany, Raceway Venray in the Netherlands, Wakarneki in Latvia, Rockingham in the UK, and 3 races in Canada, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and 349. And wraps up with the dual races in Suzuka in Japan. And then the 5 race chase. It'll be a 10-car chase like last season. Top 5 will move on to the championship in Zandvoorts. Super Snack 500, Indianapolis, Charlotte, and then Talladega. And then it all wraps up, of course, in the championship race in Zandvoorts. Highest finisher of the 5 will be your champion. We will still keep track of unedited points for the Pichu Cup, and just for sake of curiosity. But anyway, that is all from the info video for Season 24 of the Pole 1 NASCAR Series. Good luck to all drivers competing. And, of course, there is the zero-tolerance spoiler policy I mentioned earlier in the video. And I will have zero tolerance for spoilers now from now on, so be aware of that. And we'll start the season very shortly here on TA2 Racing. Thanks for watching. This is the account second. This is TA2 Racing signing off, and we'll see you guys later.